What's up, everybody? Courtney Morris, Natural Wellness Physiotherapy. When I'm up in my office, I will a lot of times catch people doing overhead press of different varieties, and you'll see all kinds of like wonky techniques. The most common one that I will see is when somebody's trying to press overhead, is that they have this weight way out here in front of them, and then we end up with some kind of rotator cuff tendonitis. And I mean, it's pretty obvious why. Like, if my arm is supposed to be completely up overhead here, right, with my humerus, my arm bone lined up with my ear, and I'm pressing out here, or I'm getting this rib flare where it's like, oh yeah, look how straight up this is, and you're doing a standing bench press. It's pretty obvious how we can throw on some shoulder dysfunction pretty quickly. So there are a couple things that we want to make note of as we're going up overhead. One of them is just that thing that we discussed early on here, is that as I am pressing this thing, is I want to keep my rib cage perpendicular to the floor, right? I do not want to arch my back and press this thing up overhead. The other thing is I want to get this thing as close to my ear as possible on every single rep. Whether I'm doing it with the dumbbell, I want to press this thing up, there's no room out here in front of me. I'm not dropping this thing out here. This adds additional stress to my rotator cuff. I want to have it up in this full-on press position every time. Or even if it's with a kettlebell, I start up here. The other thing that I want to add on this kettlebell press is I want to have my armpit pressing forward. Now I'm in this externally rotated position. We know that external rotation is a position of strength, and I'm not pushing this thing out here and trying to maintain this load out here, right? This is not a functional movement, right? As when we're putting milk away, right? We keep it close to our body. We're not lifting it out here. So we're doing the same thing if we're pressing overhead. We're bringing it as close to our body and straight up as we can. So if you're having issues with that, if you can't get to your very end ranges in here, link to the videos below. They'll work on some overhead motion. So until next time, Courtney Morris, Natural Wellness Physiotherapy.